Hi guys, welcome back to the Forgetful Scholar, and this week we have two books. So, sorry about last week, there were some health issues I had to deal with, and last week, I just couldn't read a book. You never get into the headspace where you're not feeling well, and you can't concentrate on reading, at all. That's where I was last week, but I got two books for you this week. And yes, one of them is an Emily Windsor, because you guys know me, if you've been here on this channel for a bit, when I find a new romance novelist that I like, I kind of get a little obsessed. So usually for 2 or 3 weeks after, every week I have a book from them, and then I calm the hell down and they just get added to the rotation. So I think I'm finally done with reading Emily Windsor every week. I've calmed down. Next week I'll be reading someone else, but she's been put into the rotation, you know. I will say I'm a little disappointed by this week's Emily Windsor, because I just finished the book yesterday and I cannot remember the main characters' names. The book I finished in the earlier in this week, I remember their names, Owen and Calvin, but what were their names? I have to look at my notes. Bram and Sophie. And the fact that I forgot the name Sophie is super bad, because my big sister, that's her name. So that's really bad. Oh boy. Okay, so this week's Emily Windsor historical romance is An Earl in Wolf's Clothing, Rules of the Rogue, Book 1 by Emily Windsor. And this is a second chance romance, which I hate. I hate so much. I hate. Did I read the synopsis? No. Because I'm not reading synopsises or blurbs very much lately. Very much lately? No, I guess that works. The sentence works, whatever. I've been, cue the dog scratching on the carpet. Okay, I've been wanting to give books sort of like a blind test, like a fresh start kind of thing. I hate second chance romances. I think maybe 1 or 2 second chance romances I actually like out of all my years of reading romance, which is a lot. I'm old. There's a lot. So I'm actually happy I didn't read the blurb, because then I might have put this book off. So this is Sophie and Bram's story. You really wouldn't know that by reading the book. I'm giving it 2 stars because it doesn't deserve a 1 star, right? There's nothing horrendously wrong with it. There's not huge plot holes, anything like that. It's just boring. Have you ever read a book where the 2 main characters, the 2 characters that you were in their POVs, it's their story, seem almost like a second level character in their own book? Because that's what this felt like. Sophie's cousin and Bram's friend, the Duke and the cousin, they seem like more main characters of the story, even though we didn't have any of their POVs, right? So this is just boring. So we open up on Sophie. She's in a ball, and she's looking for her fiance to announce to the wealthy, entitled, the elite of society in England around 1800s that they're engaged. She can't find him. She runs into a mean girl. And I'm like, okay, so her personality is sort of shy, mousy, insecure. Okay. I've read books where the female lead is like that, and I freaking love them. So I'm like, okay, this, sounds a little good. I love that. I love when shy characters end up being inner strength, you know what I mean, of the story. I love that. So I'm like, okay, cool. She finds her fiance Bram in, I guess, a library or something, behind closed doors. And the conversation she overhears, I was like, okay, that sounds pretty bad. That sounds pretty bad. Because he's with this woman named Celeste, until the last thing Celeste says. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's something else. Because Celeste kind of made it sound like her and Bram were going to meet up for a threesome. And I was like, this is not a smut book. This is a romance book, and or not a YA or anything like that. And Emily Windsor's previous books, stuff like that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, obviously something else is going on, right? So Sophie leaves her engagement ring on the nearby statue and leaves. And she goes to Ireland, and he cannot follow. And I thought the reason why he can't follow was really good. I enjoyed that. And I was like, oh man, if we could expand it on this could have been really fascinating. But okay. It led, I was like, fine. We've, and for like a year, she's in Ireland. So I was like, okay, she runs from her problems. That could be really interesting. I haven't really read of a heroine who runs from her problems. This could be fun. A new kind of personality trait unlocked. Let's go. So for a year, he kind of spies on her, sends her gifts. She never writes back. She never opens his letters, things like that, right? She comes back to England a year later and she basically ignores him. I'm like, okay, all right. He's like obsessed with getting her back. You find out, it's not, there's going to be a little bit of spoilers in this. It just is. But this, you find out like his POV. So like the second chapter, that he's a spy for the crown. I'm like, okay, his code name is the Wolf. I was like, cool, maybe we'll find some like interesting, he'll get like an interesting kind of action scene or something like that, that could be fun, right? We could show what he does, not being told what he does, but show, could be fun. She comes back and apparently a year surrounded by her loving family, a very supportive family, especially for this time, that they were like, yeah, like her family's not high on the nobility scale or anything like that. They are wealthy, but like I was kind of impressed how supportive her family was, because her parents were like, yeah, he won't do, let's go. Meanwhile, it was kind of like known that men had their mistresses, you know what I mean? Because it's gauche to be in love with your wife, like, so I was kind of surprised by that, like happily surprised. I'm like, okay, a little different dynamic, that's nice. She comes back from Ireland and it's like she's a completely different person. Granted, we didn't see much of her personality except in that first chapter, but I thought it established pretty much what she was: insecure, shy, runs away from her problems, right? So when she comes back, she's stubborn, temper, confrontational, like completely different person. And I was like, okay, sure, heartbreak can do that to you, maybe like protect your heart a little bit, but it was just odd. It seemed so disconnected from the little peek we got of her in the beginning that it felt like a completely different person. And I was like, okay, all right, personality switch, a year, all right, heartbreak, maybe that's why. But then that wasn't consistent either, okay? So she comes back with her cousin who is from Ireland. I think we were supposed to find her like lovable and charming. She annoyed the crap out of me. I think she annoyed the crap out of me because it seemed like she was the main character of this story when she wasn't supposed to. Like, it was kind of clear who the writer's favorites were, and it wasn't Pram and Sophie. It was the Duke and the cousin. Because I was like, am I reading their story? What is happening now? And like, I get it. I get it. I read books where like two family members are having the romance at their same time, but in different books. And I really enjoyed those, and I thought those were a lot of fun. But the book, for each family member, you could tell that they were the main characters of their story. It wasn't like they were secondary characters in their story, which is what this felt like. It was very strange. She doesn't want to forgive him until he gives the truthful explanation what happened that night, and he can't do that until he gets permission. So as the reader, you're just you feel like you're just waiting for Pram's boss to give him the okay. And it's just a weird feeling because like nothing's really happening. Like the Duke and their friend are trying to help Pram win her back with all these little weird schemes and stuff like that, which was cute. Their friendship, I like that. Like, that was a nice way of showing their friendship. Like, I'm not saying the whole book was bad. I'm just, I found it boring. And I didn't care about either of the main characters. So in a romance, that's like the kiss of death. You know what I mean? So that was cute. Okay, friendship. Yay, friendship. Friendship is magic. Anyway, but she was like, no. Like, she was being stubborn. I was like, okay, she's stubborn. That's fine. She wanted the truth, right? That he couldn't tell her at that moment. And And then like because he wears glasses, right? It's a big deal. He wears glasses. She finds the glasses, realizes that they're just glass, plain glass. Like they're not prescription or anything like that. And like her and her cousin weirdly put together that he's a spy. And I was like, from glasses? Because there wasn't any other clues for you guys to be like, he's a spy. Even though they kind of said it jokingly, but like she like had the feeling deep down unease. You know what I mean? I was like, because there was absolutely no other indication from her point of view that he would be a spy. I just thought that was a weird leap. Later on, the cousin confirms that he's a spy, but I think her reason was a little bit more fleshed out because again, it was like the cousin was the main character because her uncle, the cousin's uncle, makes weapons for the crown, like for the spies for the crown. So she recognizes some of the weapons. So that's why, because she helped make them. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? When I'm saying like it felt like the cousin was the main character when she wasn't in this story. So when he tells her the truth, it's not that she doesn't believe him because she already had the idea he was a spy because apparently she's Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. Or like a mind reader. She gets angry. And I'm like, where has this temper come from? Because this temper did not exist at any other point in the book and doesn't exist any other point after. Like it felt like such an out of character. Like I was like, after I read that part, I was like, what is her personality? Who is her personality? Who are we reading right now? This is ridiculous. So she gets mad at him for that, which huge pet peeve in books, in media, in real life. Someone wants the truth. They're like, I'm not gonna get mad. You tell the truth, they get mad. I'm like, I'm done with you. I am done with you. One of my biggest pet peeves in life. So that did not help that I read that and that I was like, oh, I hate that. I hate that so bad. So, and then like they're trying to catch this French kidnapper and assassin. We didn't really get to see any of that chase because even though Bram is named the Wolf and he's like one of their best hunters, you know, like tracking down people, he wasn't put on this assignment. The Duke was. And even when the boss didn't completely trust the Duke was on the assignment and Bram wasn't. Even though Bram was like about to retire and stuff like that, he's just told to keep his ears and eyes open for clues. And I'm like, that sucks. It would have been great if we saw Bram like in the middle of a hunt chasing down the bad guy. That would have been it would have felt like something was happening in the story, right? And again, this is why I felt like the Duke was the main character. The Duke could have been on the hunt as well. Like they could have done it together so that in the Duke's story, you get his point of this cat and mouse chase with this assassin guy, right? So the assassin mistakenly thinks that Sophie is important to the Duke and threatens her. Like, Bram comes back. They finally have a heart-to-heart. Everything's good. Then the cousin gets kidnapped. They go chase. And during like the one interesting part of this book, we're with Sophie in the gallows because they have to go on a boat. So on a boat. So Sophie is in the lower decks with her maid. So we don't even get to see the fighting. And then like the French assassin takes her hostage, but like she helps herself to get away and like all this stuff. And I was like, the most interesting part of the book that would have made this book memorable, we don't get to see it. And I'm like, well, that sucks. You know, I think it would have been more interesting if she didn't have any idea that he was a spy. He tells her he's a spy. She doesn't believe him, thinks he's still lying. And then she gets kidnapped by the French assassin guy. And then she, whether in his POV or her POV, she sees him kind of go through the bad guys to get to her and like, oh, he is a spy. You know what? I think that would have been a little bit more entertaining. And yes, I know I'm bloodthirsty, but come on, like nothing happened in this book. And I think we were supposed to like get that they are madly in love. And I was like, okay. I mean, he seems a little bit more on the obsession side, but whatever. Okay. It was just boring, which is a shame, but it was boring. And I kind of feel a little bit more resentful on their part for Sophie and Bram's part because it's like they were sidelined in their own book. And obviously the writer likes the cousin, who I found annoying, and the Duke more than them. So I was like, then why make this the first book of this little rogue, what is it? The rogue, Rules of the Rogue kind of little section of books. Like, why make them the first book then? Like, why not make the Duke and the cousin the first book? Like, it was just, it was disappointing. So the other book I read, Peacemaker, Sharps and Springfield Book 1 by Morgan Price. This is the Owen and Calvin. This is a MM boy love, guy love, historical, paranormal, Weird West book. And I haven't really read many like Weird West. I mean, I guess like steampunk Weird West, but not, you know. So they're part of a secret branch of the Secret Service that is like the supernatural Secret Service. So they're like ghost cops. You know, they're like supernatural cops. There's a lot of angst in this book, which I enjoyed. This book I gave like a 2 as well, like 2.5 as well, just because there was a lot of being told what was happening. Like the investigation itself, because they're trying to find 2 of the agents that were previously in the St. Louis department have been kidnapped. So they're trying to find, they think they're dead. They're trying to find who did that, right? There's vampires, there's werewolves, there's shapeshifters. There's a lot, you know. Owen is a medium. And Calvin, when he touches something, he could get like a sense of like what the person's emotions were, kind of see what happened in that moment, which is kind of cool. They're both gay and hiding it because at the time, you know what I mean? So it was illegal, so they were hiding it. There's a lot of angst because they're like super attracted to each other, but they don't want to risk their jobs and their livelihood and their life. So they're like hiding it from each other. So the angst, I love angst, and that was fun. Just every time they went to their contact, the contact had this huge monologue of all the clues. And I was like, okay, that's kind of boring. Like, couldn't we see them go on some investigations a little bit and put together the clues as the reader too? You know, like the investigation was not, I didn't think it was well done. Did I really like the world? Yes. Did I really like Owen and Calvin? Oh my gosh, yes. And their valet, their butler, I guess, Winston. Oh yeah, Winston's like a witch and he's fascinating. Like, yes, it kind of reminded me of the movie A Wild West too, a little bit. But in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way. I liked the secondary characters, very strong women, especially in that time period. It's just huge dialogue text of clues and what was happening, and you know, this guy's a bad guy because of this, and he's a suspect because of this from their contacts. And like to the point where like I had to stop myself from skimming over it because it was just so dense. Like the information was so dense. And even though like a contact is telling the main guy what was going on, telling Owen or Calvin what was going on, it really did feel like we were being lectured, like reading the book. Like I didn't like that. I like the world. I'm interested in to see what happens next. But I didn't, it didn't feel like we were along for the ride for the investigation. It felt like we were reading about the investigation third hand and it was boring, which is a shame because it was really fascinating world. At one point, Calvin's in a cave and he risked his safety to blow it up and he's like yearning for Owen, but he's like, okay, I have to protect the town. So he blows it up. And they're on top of the cave trying to get to him. And they're just like, not Owen, but the other people with him, like, oh, he's dead, let's go. Like, it didn't feel like they tried to get him out at all. Owen was trying to pull the rocks off. And I was like, you just weaponized ghosts, which I love when mediums weaponize ghosts. Why? I don't know. Why do I love it? I don't know, but I do. I love it so much. And I was like, you have the power to weaponize ghosts against vampires, which was super fun. I wish there was more confrontation with the vampires. That kind of sucked. And I was like, send the ghosts in to see if Calvin's alive. Like, why aren't you doing that? Everyone's like, oh, he's dead, let's go. And basically drag him away. And then Calvin isn't dead and like crawls his way out of it and makes his way to their home by himself. And I was like, that's really anticlimactic. That is not a dramatic ending. This is the third act. What are you doing? I was like, how about this? How about when Calvin's trying to claw his way out, that's when they're on top of it and Owen's, you know, trying to get him out himself. Or maybe Owen came back after they dragged him away and he's trying to find him because like so much angst, these two, right? Trying to find him, or at least his body to be buried, you know, something like that. And like Owen would be there on the outside of the cave when Calvin is able to crawl out of it. I thought that would be like a really dramatic, beautiful like ending to that. You know, how cute would that be? Like cinematic, you know? But no, Calvin just wanders his way back home, and granted, everyone's super happy that he's alive, but I was just like, Owen started like pulling the rocks away, and they're like, oh, he's dead, and they drag him. Like, they didn't even have to drag him away. If they dragged Owen away or like sedated him, I would have liked that a little bit more. It just didn't feel like Owen tried hard enough to get to Calvin. I know, because like the amount of angst that was happening, I felt like it would have been understandable if Owen got a little nuts at the thought of Calvin dying. You know what I mean? So that was a disappointment. I'm happy those two are together. They're cute. But the investigation wasn't very good, which is strange because usually I really like this author's investigation. When they do like investigational stuff, I really enjoy it. I like that they show the clues and things like that, and the reader can put it together themselves. This one was just off. I don't know if it was because the format they were trying, Weird West, or maybe because this was the first book in this new world they're creating. I'm not sure. Will I read a second one? Yeah, I'm really interested. The Weird West was fascinating to me. I had fun with that. You know, and like someone who's from the Northeast and then moved to the Southwest, the desert is fascinating. There's so many like local stories and folklores, and you know, the desert is never quiet. It's different from obviously like the Northeast where there's always cars or something going on. In the desert, there's always like animal noises. Like, it's not quiet. And one of the first things, like, my friends kept telling me here, like, I was told multiple people that at night, if the desert goes quiet, get the fuck out of there. Like, just go, you know, because like there's a big predator out there, so just go. Because the desert is never quiet, you know? So that would be, so I'm kind of really interested to see where their, Morgan Price is going to go in this new world. But man, yeah, the first one, rough start. Love the world, love the guys, so I'm hoping the second one I'll love, okay? So that was this week. And again, I want to do like 15 minutes, but apparently I rambled on like I always do. I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.